I want us to talk about Alex Jones. A little background on what's going on with Alex Jones. He was sued for defamation after the Sandy Hook shooting because he said some abhorrent, despicable, false things about the parents of some of the students who were murdered at Sandy Hook. He accused them of being crisis actors. These parents sued him, and he was found liable. He was found that this was in fact defamation. But what I want to talk to you about two legal aspects of this. I want to talk about the damages that he has been directed by a jury to pay, which is over $45 million. But before we even get into that part, I want to talk to you about the legal aspect of defamation law. We've talked about this before, actually, from the opposite perspective. We've talked about how the standard for defamation of a public figure is higher than the standard for defamation for someone who is a private citizen. But talk to me a little bit about free speech and whether or not it's absolute in these cases and the history of that in our country. Because there are some on the right who are arguing that Alex Jones has a right to say whatever awful thing that he wants to say and shouldn't be punished at all.
Well, anyone who's arguing that, I think is just wrong. If you look at free speech, if you look at how the First Amendment has always been understood, you do have a constitutional right to speak, and you have a right for the government not to censor you, not to silence you. But speech has always been subject to the constraints of defamation, the constraints of slander and libel. That if you knowingly say something that is false, that is damaging, that injures the reputation of someone else, that inflicts harm on someone else, and is false, you can be liable and you can be sued and you can pay damages. And that's been true for hundreds of years. That goes back to British common law. Even before we had a constitution, that was always an element of you have responsibility for your actions. Just like if I drive my car into your car, you can sue me for the harm that I inflict upon you. Yes, I have a right to travel. I have a right to travel, but I don't have a right to drive my car into your car. The same principle is true with speech, that if you knowingly say false things about someone, you can be sued and held to account.